There's probably one from last time.
Yeah. All right. Hello and good morning, everyone, or good afternoon for those of you who are joining on the East Coast or in the UK. We are going live this morning from the steps of the Tacoma courthouse in support of April Morrow, who is the founder of Sovereign Women Speak. She is the organizer of the Tacoma Let Women Speak event that happened on October 26th. At that event, as many of you know, I believe, who are here, April had her hand crushed, unfortunately, by one of the men who was trying to stop women from speaking. She is now meeting him in court, pressing charges, and is being forced to refer to him with she, her pronouns. In the when they originally wrote up the arrest report, he was a man. Now he is claiming to be a woman, and we are gathered here today. We will be with April shortly. There are other women gathered with her. We are going to hear some speeches from them before they go into the courthouse. And what we are going to attempt to do this morning is we are going to attempt to have a watch party of that hearing. I believe that it is possible based on what I looked up at the courthouse. There should be a live feed coming from the courthouse. But if that is not possible, then we will just hear from April and other women who are gathered. They will be with us shortly, and then we will discuss afterwards. So thank you all so much for being here. Elizabeth and Emma, Cat Farm. I think Kelly said you are team Gung Ho Pirates. Spiky Turf, thank you so much. Yolanda, great to see you. Cat Turvins, thanks so much. Andrea, Shannon, I saw you. And Joe, thank you so much for the donation this morning. We are also encouraging everyone to donate to April's fundraiser. She is trying to gather support for her legal fees and for her medical fees. Raven, you're just on time. We're just starting. Also joining me today is the amazing K.Yang, activist, artist, and researcher behind the deprogrammer, behind StopFemaleErasure.com. K.Yang is the originator of the term, the trans agenda, and we thank her for all of her amazing work on the UN, everything that she has done. She was the main organizer of the New York Let Women Speak event that was so epic. So I thank her for joining me here today as part of this live stream event. And hopefully we are going to be with the women on the ground very, very soon. Elizabeth, if you are in the chat, I did also send you a link because I haven't heard back from any of my other women who are on the ground. So I'm hoping they are going to be with us very shortly.
Yes. Okay, thanks, Amy. Thank you so much for introducing me, introducing the schedule for today, and kind of giving an overview of what's going on. Thank you all so much for being here. It's so good to see you all. It's honestly, it's heartening with everything going on. It's very heartening to see that we have women who are continuing to come together for events like this to support one another and build solidarity. It's really amazing. So thank you all for being here. I want to just give a point of information about what's going to be happening today. Is actually April is not yet actually brought charges against Elijah Lane herself. Right now, it's the city of Tacoma that's bringing charges against Elijah Lane, who is the man, of course, who crushed April's hand. So after April's pretty much waiting for the civil charges from the city to be brought against Elijah. And then after that, she'll be bringing her charges. And that's going to create a stronger case for her. So just to be very clear about that. And Elijah Lane, yes, now identifying as a female, but is a male, is a man. Was a man when he crushed April's hand, is a man now, will always be a man. You know, we'll dig up the body in how many hundreds of years and it'll be a male skeleton. So I just want to point that out again, because the nonstop gaslighting and propaganda telling us that it's possible for men to become women, it's so ridiculous. We know that it is. But it's being used in the court of law to force women to lie about reality and lie about the violence that's happened against them. So this is the very real world impact of gender identity ideology. This is what it looks like in practice. And yes, Shannon is pointing out that pronouns are perjury. And I agree with you as well. Like, forcing women to use female pronouns for a man is a lie.
Yeah.
Point blank.
Yeah.
So this is a warfare on the nature of reality itself, right? This is what they're doing. They're trying to completely restructure how we see one another, how we see ourselves, and taking sex right out of the picture. So Amy, go ahead. I don't want to go on and on, but I just wanted to point out that bit about the city of Tacoma is bringing the charges against Elijah.
Absolutely. And I'm going to bring up the Sovereign Women Speak page. I want to play the, I want to, let's see, I want to play the event that happened so that we can all see it. Let me pull this out so I can get it on the screen here. And
While you're pulling that up, Amy, I'm just going to repeat Elizabeth's comment from the chat. Elizabeth is letting everyone know that the meetup place, if you're going to be in person, is at 930 Tacoma Ave South, and enter from the back of the building on Yakima Street. Thank you, Elizabeth. And hi.
Okay. And I'm just checking my sound. And I'm going to check my sound in here. Last time,
Mary Ross, Kat Turvins is asking. Kat Turvins is wondering if Elijah is actually going to show up this time.
Oh yeah, Elijah
Since
did not
last time. That's a good point of information for everybody to know if you weren't here last time. And Kat, of course, took the footage that I think we're about to be seeing right now. Kat Turvins and her husband were up there watching from above. She took the film, and you can hear her yelling to her husband to go help them.
All right, I'm going to background on that. Tell me if you can hear this.
I cannot.
Okay, hold on. Let me try one more thing. Okay. Sorry, friends. Bear with.
All good. Hi, Marshmallow Minion, Sabine, Lily, Weatherwax. Who else is here? Okay. Heather. Hi, Heather. I just spoke to her a little while ago. I know Heather's going to be helping out this morning, getting women to the site.
Hi.
Can you hear that?
Women Speak. Last October, I had the honor to host Kelly J. Keane from the UK in my home and organize her Let Women Speak tour for Washington State. I chose the Tolson Plaza after the Tacoma police reassured me they understood this was not a matter of if they would be needed. They understood my request was essential to avoid another round of male violence against women for speaking in public. Upon arrival, we were shocked to see children off campus holding signs along the side of Antifa, parents, teachers, and school officials. They were all organized as a team.
Me also what the climate and what's happening in the US. Anyway, could you back up? Life.
Meet the unhinged onogonophilia with a schoolgirl fetish. This is a small example of his misogyny. Them saying we brought violence to children is their attempt to fool the world and silence women. My full live stream on Sovereign Women Speak Facebook page is crystal clear evidence of their terror, violence, and gaslighting. They scream no hate here, yet so many of them spit at us. Spitting on another human represents a deep level of contempt. I see our women preparing to leave, and I realize I need to get in and retrieve my items. As I walk past these two men, I have no idea that they plan to attack me.
They're attacking April. Oh my God. Yeah, down there. Go help her, Ryan, please. Get them up from the middle where those boys are. They stole her stuff. Those boys are.
The pain was excruciating, and I didn't realize I was in shock. However, my sisters did, and they all took very good care of me. They called the medics, helped me file a police report, and got me home safely.
First name is April Morrow.
I'm a 57-year-old woman who's had a double hip surgery. I have fibromyalgia. I attended yesterday as a woman who wanted to speak out against what's going on in the prison system here. We have pedophiles, we have rapists, and we have serial killers inside the women's prison. I showed up to speak about that. I spent $300 on signs and staked them into the ground. I was there as a journalist with my phone on a pod, just trying to get the footage. I am not a violent person at all. When I showed up and I saw the kids up above, I thought they have the right to be here. That's fine. Everything's cool. But then as everything started and our speakers began to talk, the first one, they came down from one tier after another, pulled out our signs, stomped on them, picked up the stakes, threatened them with us, encircled us. This was very scary. I've never been afraid of a group of children in my life. I am a teacher. I have taught in Tacoma. I have lived here my entire life. I have never witnessed such violence from children like that. I saw people be spit on. I saw water bottles being thrown. My phone was grabbed and my hand was crushed and it is broken and I no longer can teach dance. I was thrown to the ground. The police were called 23 times telling that women were being assaulted. The principal of the school did nothing. Women came there for freedom of speech, and it was shut down by these students. We are not a hateful group. If they would actually just listen to us, they would see how much we care about children and what is taking place. And if we could just be heard and not shut down, I don't want to be afraid to live in Tacoma. I don't want to be afraid as a journalist. I don't want to be afraid as a woman. I have the right to speak in public without being threatened and bullied and pushed to the ground and my hand broken. Do you not agree? I don't even feel safe living here anymore. Now, every single one of your students know my face. I have been threatened. They were all happy that I was hurt. Every person I walked by was cheering that this 57-year-old disabled woman was hurt. That is sadistic. Thank you. Women won't leave. Stubborn women speak. Women won't leave.
All right.
Yes. Yes, so please share that video if you can. Amy is going to put the link for you from that into the comment section. Share that wherever you can to share April's firsthand account, her testament of what happened to her. Very important that her voice gets out about this and we can help sound the alarm. So I actually want to give a special shout out right now. I see You're Too Political is here in the chat with us. And I met her in New York City and she was wearing a full suffragette costume. She had the gloves on, the hat, everything. It was amazing. She rolled up to the Let Women Speak event in front of the city council in her full garb. And she was one of the women who was, physically holding up the barrier while the trans rights activists and so-called anti-fascists were trying to break the barrier so that they could reach women to do violence and physical bodily harm. So I just wanted to give a shout out to You're Too Political because the scene of her, in my mind, and the image that I have of that event in my memory It was iconic, and it said so much about the legacy and the history of the fight that we women have been, that we've been up against. So yes, I see Susie was there and remembers the suffragette outfit. Chicana Feminista remembers it. Mary Ross. So of course, it was a really iconic image, and her speech was amazing for those of us who could hear it, because again, it's let women speak, and they did not want to let women speak. So I just wanted to say hello to her. She's here in the chat, and she's just joining us, and she asked what's happening right now, what's going on with why is April in court, and just a brief recap. April's hand was broken by a man named Elijah Lane at was it October 26th?
Yep.
Let Women Speak event organized by April Morrow, founder of Sovereign Women Speak. Of course, Kelly J was here, and violence broke out, horrible scenes of it. April was attacked. She had her hand crushed by this man, Elijah Lane. He's now calling himself a woman. The city of Tacoma is bringing charges against Elijah, and they are gathered today at the Pierce County Courthouse. April and some of her supporters are going to be there. A lot of women, some of the women in this chat are going to be there. Maybe they'll pop on and talk to us about what's going on later. And April will be bringing civil charges against him after the city brings their charges. So that's just a little recap of what's going on today. At the last event, Elijah did not show up, so we're looking to see if he shows up today. Go ahead, Amy. It looks like we've got someone coming on.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think Elizabeth is joining us. I saw her camera came up and it went out. So I would put her, but she's not here. I do want to say, this forced pronoun, I'm really concerned, and I think it's good that we are all witnessing this, because I'm very concerned to see how this goes. This is, as they said, forced perjury, and this is really just a tragedy of what you see the state is sanctioning and forcing women to comply with. Men who attack us, we are forced to basically dehumanize ourselves in the way that we talk about them. We are fully embodied whole human beings. We are not an identity concept that anyone of any sex can claim. So this is self-dehumanization to be forced to participate in this. It's one of the most horrible things. I mean, it's just a word, but it is a horrible thing to have to do on the stand, is to be complicit in this lie. And it's obviously a power move that he's using. All right, here is Elizabeth with us.
Holding our signs and our umbrellas. Hey, sorry, April's on the phone.
Hey, Elizabeth, good to see you.
Can you, Elizabeth, do a spin around so we see where we're at?
Yeah, so I don't think I'm able to flip my camera around like I want to.
That's okay.
But this is the Pierce County Courthouse.
Okay, great.
We just have people filming. We have our security guys. We have a few women. We'll have more showing up in just a moment. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Everybody's
Okay.
here. I think it's going to be easier for you to come here instead of all of us.
Awesome. How many women are with you so far?
At the moment we've got 4, but there's more on our way who are just running a little late, and then we've got some of our male allies here for security. They do a really great job.
Oh, great. Good.
Elizabeth brought hers, and my car's right here. She's just going to run them over to the car after we're done.
Elizabeth, can you just kind of tell us where you are? Can you just tell us and everybody that's watching, I guess, who you are, where you are, and in your words, why you're there today?
Yeah, so I'm in front of the Pierce County Courthouse, which is in downtown Tacoma, Washington. I'm a desisted woman, so I used to identify as trans. And then I re-identified as a woman. And I'm here because I was there at the October event, and then April is also a good friend of mine, so I wanted to be there to support her, because I've seen you know, just how much she struggles now with her hand injury as a result of this.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Elizabeth.
Oh, where did I do? I did, there we go. Sorry. All right, good. Well,
Yeah,
I'm
she's
glad.
off the phone. Did you want to ask April some questions?
Yeah, absolutely. As soon as she's off the phone, we would love to speak to her and hear from her before she goes in there today. Do you guys know yet, is Elijah there today? Have you found that out? Is your lawyer with you?
Do we know if he's there yet?
We don't. We haven't
Okay.
seen him come by, but not really sure
Yeah.
if he's here yet. We probably won't know that until we get in the courtroom.
Yeah. Yeah. So April's in the background saying that they probably won't know if Elijah's there or not until they get into the courtroom. And that's what happened last time, right? It was all of the women had already passed through security and were in their seats, and the proceedings had begun before they realized that he was a no-show. So it might be that way today as well.
Yeah, he seems like kind of a bum, honestly. So
Really? You don't say.
I hope for, I don't know, not closure exactly, but like I hope he's there, but I don't have high hopes that he will be.
Yeah.
You want someone to hold the baby?
Yeah. She's got, want her to fuss. Yeah, she's got hell.
Okay.
Just like, you know what
Hey. Amy would love to ask you some questions.
Would like to ask
Yeah.
questions? Okay.
Hey. So
Hi, April.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Doing good. And you?
Good.
Yeah, pretty good. We just, we'd love to hear your thoughts today before you go in. I know you did not meet him last time. He was a no-show. How are you feeling today? I know you're more fortified with more women around you, and I just wanted to, if you had any words that you wanted to say before you go in, we would all love to hear from you.
Okay, great. Yeah. Well, just to kind of maybe let you know what my hopes are at the end of all of this here is that the prosecuting attorney was able to get this moved to the hate crime it is. I am hoping that I am demanding that this be recorded as the crime of a male and not a female, and refusing to use the female pronouns for a man. So those are probably the three biggest things that that we'll be, discussing here today. And so at the end of the court hearing, I'm hoping to have some information regarding those issues there.
Yeah, thank you, April. And Heather was trying to explain to me earlier, and then I was trying to explain to the live stream, but I think you're the best person to explain. Right now, it's the city of Tacoma that's bringing the charges against Elijah. Can you explain a little bit about that and explain to the women when you'll be pressing charges and why you're not doing it at this time?
Sure. Yeah, this is the criminal case from this, like you said, this is the city of Tacoma, the prosecuting attorney suing him for the criminal aspect of this. But then I have to get a civil lawsuit attorney to go after him to sue him for any type of financial reimbursement for the pain, suffering, loss of work, medical costs, all of that. Yeah.
Yes, and if people out there who are listening want to support you and your medical costs, your legal costs, and all of this that this is taking from you, what's the best way to do that? You can just say that now, and we'll put the links and everything in the comments for people.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, women. You can go to our website, sovereignwomenspeak.com, and on there is a donate page. And I want to thank all of you that have already donated and all of you that have been supporting me through all of this. I send you all love and I'm just so grateful. There's just so much gratitude in my heart towards all of these women. It's just amazing how women will gather together. I'm really feeling very blessed to have all these women in my life.
You know,
And
April,
these men, and these, I'm sorry, but and these men too. I have men here that are here to support me and to protect me, just in case we get, you know, TRAs or Antifa or anybody out here. I
right.
don't think we will, because we're, you know, we're on federal property, so don't think we're going to have that problem out front of the courthouse. But you know, you never know.
April, you've done so much that a lot of women are maybe now just hearing about who you are, or maybe they've heard of you, but they don't know the whole body of work that you've done. So yes, if you're listening and just being introduced to April, understand that the work that she's been doing on the West Coast, in Tacoma and in that area, has been integral to developing this budding movement of women and all of these women who are around you. This resistance to men and women's prisons. April has been a really big foundational person in that fight, a woman warrior standing up for incarcerated women. So, you know, it's very important that we stand up and support April as well, because she's been supporting hundreds of women. And April, I see that your arms are full right now. Do you want to share with everyone anything about why your arms are full?
Well, I have a new grandbaby. Her name is Isabella. She's almost 3 months old, and I'm keeping her warm and safe.
That's wonderful.
And I wanted to also ask April, is this the same Judge Henke, is it?
Yes.
And is this okay? So, and I believe, is it room 234 that you'll be in?
It is room 234.
All right.
It's at 10:30.
Okay, we are going to try. We're going to try to have a watch party of that, because I believe the court does their own live stream. So we're going to try to watch the hearing all together. We just lost her.
Okay, but they may pop back in. And also, I know that Dawn Land is supposed to be getting on the ground soon. And I know that she has the link for the live stream. And as soon as she gets there, she'll plug in and give us the scene of what's going on the ground as well.
Yeah. I also was just told that there are a group of, there is a Christian group out there in support of April today. With their own flags and banners.
I lost the signal.
Yeah. Okay, good. You're welcome back. Okay. I was just told there's another group out there not with you guys in support of you.
Yes. A bunch of women showed up. I don't even know them. It's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah. You know, April, do you think you could let us know from your vantage point, what are you seeing today? Can you describe the scene, the women who are there to support you? Give us an idea of who they are and why they're here. Maybe even this awesome woman behind you, making sure that you and the baby are dry. We can see her. Thank you for being there.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm thank you for asking me that, because these women are so amazing. And I just want to say that, you know, Sovereign Women Speak, when I founded it, it wasn't based on radical. It was based on radical feminists. I'm a radical feminist. However, Sovereign Women Speak is composed of those from the left, those from the right, the Democrats.
Right.
We have, you know, lesbians, bisexual, straight women. We have Christians. We have atheists. We have spiritual women. We have maidens, mothers, queens, and crones.
That's right, as Ava says.
All different backgrounds. We don't do purity politics. If you are in the fight to protect women and children from transgenderism cult of mutilating and sterilizing children and putting men in women's prisons, yeah, I don't care what your background is. Come join us. We are here in Tacoma, and we have open arms for all women that are in this
because this issue affects every woman and all people on this planet. Absolutely. Elizabeth, is it possible that you can turn the camera screen so we can get a wider view of everyone that's there?
I'll try. Let's see.
Because I see that there's a nice group of supporters that have their signs, and it'd be really great.
I don't think I can. I don't think
it will
only let me use the front camera.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. What I'm saying
Well,
is,
actually, this is great right here, seeing the whole group. This is really nice.
yeah, you don't have to turn the camera itself. If you just turn the phone on its side, it should. Okay, no, it's not gonna. Okay, that's all right. We tried. We tried. Can you, Elizabeth, kind of walk us around and give us a visual of the signs?
We
Can
lost.
you see it? Can you see it now?
Oh, there we go.
No. Okay, no, it's still not.
Do you mind kind of walking around and letting us say hi to some of the awesome people that are here? And if they want to say hello or say anything, that'd be great.
Can you see these?
Yes, we've got no woman should ever be forced to call her male attacker she. We have the classic woman, adult human female sign from Kelly J. Women's rights are human rights. Yes, we have to have a conversation about what human rights means these days, though.
Yeah.
Transgenderism are mentally ill. Yes, they're within
Just
that
keeping
is
it real.
right. There are a lot of mentally ill people who are coming forward, being taken advantage of and manipulated by the propaganda of the trans rights movement and gender identity ideology. That is true. Elizabeth, does anyone want to say hi or say why they're there today?
Want, like a little interview?
Anyone's welcome to say hello, or they don't have to say their names. If anyone wants to say why they're there or why this is important to them.
So,
Hi, welcome. Thank you so much for being here.
my name's Kelly. I'm actually Team Gung Ho Pirates on the chat. I'm just here to support all the ladies and all you guys. I wanted to be out here last time in Tacoma, but unfortunately I got sick, so I couldn't make it. But again, I'm just here for support and help these ladies out.
Thank you so much. That's awesome.
Yay. Thank you so much for being there today.
Amy?
Hey, how are you? Good to see you.
Hi.
Hey, great to be here. Thanks for covering it.
Welcome.
Yeah. Thank you for being out there today, Jess. We really appreciate you standing up for April. And I know Jess has been at a bunch of protests against the Seattle Children's Clinic. I've stood up with him there, protesting child mutilation. And you have, just been a warrior on behalf of women. So thank you for being out there today.
Yeah, well, there was those good times up in Port Townsend as well. Don't forget
Yes.
that.
Oh, yes. And of course, the mayhem of Port Townsend.
Yeah.
Who could forget that?
Yeah. So, it feels good to be here. Nice turnout, and hopefully, this guy will get charged appropriately, because I think attacking curbs definitely is it's violence against a class of people. It's a violence against women, and that needs to be recognized as a hate crime that it is.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
It's so true. It's just great, and this is really nice. What's been really great is, we have a group in Washington that has been just coming together over these events, standing up together. As you can see, so many great women and men too. We fortify each other by standing up together. So it's so wonderful to see. And I see some other women who were in Tacoma as well.
Our resident amazing sign maker.
Yay.
There she is. Dawn, I thought you were getting on the live stream with your phone.
I thought I was too, but I thought that I was confused.
Elizabeth has it covered.
I identify as Dawn, so it's actually okay.
Yes. Well, I figured Elizabeth was already on, so I didn't come on also. I mean, I could if you want, but yeah.
Well, we're happy to see you as always. Dawn, do you want to just introduce yourself to everyone and let them know why you're there and why this is so important to you? to support April as a friend, but this issue overall?
Well, my name is Dawn Land.
Oh, we can't hear you that well.
Really good thought. You know, I'm here for April because what was done with her was really wrong, and I was there. But I am trying to put out all these signs, as so many of us are. You know, I go outside the pediatric gender clinic because that is wrong. I make signs for everything. I seriously am just shooting my mouth off everywhere.
Dawn, can you also tell us, you were also in Port Townsend and you just won your own court case against a protester. Can you tell us about that win?
Oh, sure. There was, when I was in Port Townsend, at everything that happened there and how we were attacked by like 400 trans activists that we barely escaped. I mean, seriously, people got fingers broken. I mean, it was awful. On the way back to my car, we stopped to chat with 3 young teens who were trying to engage. And this is what Beth and I do, is we try to engage and try to speak reason to see if we can form bridges. But after 10 minutes, one of the kids saw the opportunity, and his intent was to steal my sign, and he did. He ripped it right out of my hands as we were talking and ran back to the mob so that they could destroy my sign. My sign, rude and bold and blunt. Trans women are men. That's what my sign says. They don't like my sign. So the mob destroyed, ripped it apart and everything. But the kid was dumb because we have him on video for 10 minutes before he did that. And so, of course, he was caught and prosecuted for robbing me. And so he's on probation and has to fulfill certain obligations, you know, to attend classes. He is in the process of paying me back for the property that he destroyed. He's going to court again in August, and I'll be there for that. I don't know if I should, you know, get a bunch of people to go, but
yeah, I think we're gonna plan something for that.
Oh, I think so. Honestly, I think that even before that, because I do not think, no matter how many classes he takes, I do not think he will reform himself and see the truth. And I want to give him the opportunity to show his true colors before his next hearing, before he goes to court. You know, maybe he won't, but I have the opportunity to really express himself, show who he really is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know, thank you, Dawn, so much for that. And one of the things that I get very concerned about is these kids are being incited to this by their elders, by the adults in the room. You know, these kids who burned who tore up this sign. I mean, they were incited by the mayor of the town and all of these other adults. So, you know, he's facing the consequences for something that adults really glorified and made seem like a heroic act. And now he is facing the consequences of this. And we're seeing this more and more. We're seeing, you know, I don't know if everyone knows the story. 2 weeks ago, a Wayne State University professor said to his on-campus students that if there was a speaker that they don't like on campus, it is more admirable to kill that speaker rather than to protest them or engage with them. So this incitement to violence is absolutely horrifying. It's monstrous what these adults are encouraging in the younger people. And you know, these words are very dangerous. You know, this is a very dangerous way to engage, and there is no engagement. And I think once these ladies go into the courthouse and before the case begins, I want to show you an example of just the level of rhetoric that these people have. We've seen it with Riley Gaines. We see it all over the place. There is no engagement with ideas. There is just screaming. All right, April, I'm going to let you cut in.
Thank you. We have to get going in now. We got to get all our signs and everything put away back into our cars and get into the courthouse within the next 10 minutes. So I don't know if you'll still be live streaming when we come out, if we can give you an update or not, but we've got to get taken off for right now. I thank you so much, Amy and Kay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all women who are supporting women that are doing this work.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your work. We are all with you. We are going to we're going to do our best to have a watch party. I have the Tacoma link up and ready to go. So hopefully as soon as you start, we'll join in you. We'll be watching. We'll be with you, watching with you.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
All right.
All right. Good luck, April. We love you. We'll talk to you later. Thank you, Elizabeth and Dawn. And Elizabeth, just thanks for being there and covering this and introducing us to the scene and some of the protesters and making sure that April had a voice today.
Yeah, of course.
You're awesome.
Here, I'm gonna switch off now, but if it's not too much longer, I can live stream when we get back out.
All right, fantastic.
Let's try to check them then, and we'll see. Good luck.
Okay, I'm gonna put up this. Obviously, we all saw what happened with Riley Gaines. I may put that up in a second, but I also just want to put this up. This is John Root. He is covering a women's Our Bodies, Our Sports event. He's covering this event and he's making an attempt to engage with the opposition. And this is their level of engagement. And I just want to show this because this really shows that this mentality that they are in is a cult think mentality. They have turned off their brains, and all they have is silencing tautological arguments. They are unable to engage at the level of our words. All right, and I'm going to put this on screen, and I'm going to blow this up a little bit. Let's see. Let's go back.
You don't want to talk at all? Does anybody want to talk? Anybody talk about what you're protesting? Do you want to talk, or you just want to hit your drum? You don't want to talk? Do you want to talk? You don't want to have a conversation? No conversation? Do you want to talk? Do you want to talk? Nobody wants to talk. You just want to bang drums? Tell us about what you guys are protesting. I didn't quite get that. What are you protesting? Okay. Is that how you guys want this to be? Just don't have any conversations? You just like name call people and that's it? Because I'm happy to have conversations. That's it. How do you think we find a way forward if we don't have conversations? You really think you're making a difference right now? I'd love to hear why you guys are protesting. Thanks for the memories.
It's just absolutely ridiculous. They have no capacity to engage. And we see this all the time. And I recently was telling K.Yang that I had a resurgence of my town attacking me and coming back to critique me over this. There's this article that came out in my town. You can't find it. It's a vanity press. It's just, maybe it has 200 subscribers. But it was a 6-page article all about me, with not one direct quote from me, not one picture of a tweet that I made, not one quote from my Substack, not one quote from something I said on YouTube, not one quote from my speech in front of the city council or in front of the Let Julie Swim, not one direct quote of anything that I said. And the thing is, you know, we can frame ourselves so carefully. When I had that Port Townsend event, I asked my group to frame themselves so carefully. I said, I don't even want you to say the word trans. I want this to be always pro women, pro single sex spaces, pro safeguarding, you know, pro girls. I want everything that we say to be pro, because I don't want, I want to really counter this narrative that the town is telling about me. And even though we were so careful, if you look at the transcript of all of our speeches, trans is not mentioned. It's all about girls, women and girls, and our needs and our sex. And still they are able, they cannot engage with what we're actually saying. The whole story that they tell about me is that, you know, we're some fascist hate group, and spinning out this narrative about stochastic terrorism, and all of these sort of just ridiculous, hyperbolic, and not even in reality based claims, and no ability to just engage with just even one thing, just one tweet, you know, not even one little, you know, 186 character tweet can they engage with. It's just bizarre. And I think this John Root video shows just is a really good example of that.
Yeah, and this point, I mean, this point is just being proven over and over again that they don't want any debate. And there's a reason why they don't want any debate, right? Because they have no arguments. This is a complete house of cards. John Root was actually came to the NCAAs in Atlanta.
Thank you.
So as you all know, the male swimmer William Lia Thomas, was competing in the NCAAs in Atlanta as a woman, as a female, and he stole a title from women. And Beth Stelzer organized a group of us women to go show up at the NCAAs and speak out and push back against this, because a lot of the female swimmers at the time were feeling like they couldn't speak up, that they were in a situation of extreme hostility and intimidation, and they were asking for women to show up in solidarity and speak out on their behalf. And so we did that day. And John was one of the reporters who came there to cover that event. He interviewed Amy, he interviewed Beth and Kelly J. And actually, he and myself went around and spoke to the counter protesters. There's some really good footage of that as well, because we went person to person and tried to get them to engage in a conversation with me. And some of them did. And it on film became apparent over and over again that they don't have any arguments and they actually don't know what they're talking about. I actually understand the programming and indoctrination better than they do. So they didn't know what to do when they were faced with direct counter arguments. So that was like a year ago. And you can see how they've shifted their strategy a year ahead. Their strategy is now to just not engage at all and just blow whistles and sirens and horns in your ear and scream at you and chant these like thought terminating rhetoric of trans women are women, trans rights are human rights, over and over again. No debate, no conversation. And it's very clear, again, why are they doing this? Because they have nothing. They don't have a leg to stand on. So we need to keep fighting and pushing back. Everything that we are fighting for, everything that we are saying is based in reality and biological material reality. We are defending reality, and this agenda goes completely against that. And ultimately, the truth will prevail. Nature, reality will prevail.
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to try to find the interview with John Root from the Atlanta, but I can't find his one on his page. But I thought I will go ahead and let me just go ahead and put up oh wait, where did I go? I lost myself. Okay, I'm gonna put up the Riley Gaines moment. Let me see here. So this is part of when she is being held.
Make her lose her pride. Tell her to pay us. Tell her to pay us, and then she can go. $10 each. Because she might get paid for this shit, so we can get paid for it too.
So they're actually saying she should pay us. So that she was held hostage for 3 hours, and they're saying that she should pay them. This is
A ransom. They
this,
wanted a ransom.
It's so dark. Wait, okay, here we go. Here's another one. This is them when they're chasing her.
I'm coming. I'm good. Trust me, I'm good.
I won't force you to watch much more of that. It's very repetitive, but all they can do is really just scream, trans women are women, trans women are women. This is what we call a thought stopping mantra. This stops all thinking. It's a meaningless, tautological little phrase. It doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't tell you anything. It stops your brain from thinking things. So this is the level that they are at. They are not in a place where they're able to connect with any real thought. They're obviously dissociated from their own bodies. They're not engaged, and they have turned this around. So they saw themselves as the heroes. And even unfortunately, the way the president of San Francisco State University told that story is that her students were victorious. I mean, they took a lone woman, one single woman, hit her, beat her, held her captive for 3 hours. How is this a mob held one woman captive for 3 hours? This is not a hero's story. This is an abuse story. This is an abuse of women story.
So let me expand a little on what Amy was talking about. This is a cult-like tactic, this thought termination. So when you are engaged in thought termination, it's not just something that you're doing to yourself, right? But it is an internal practice where you develop a way, you're programmed to a pattern of thinking that becomes reinforced by outside sources, right? Like the propaganda, the authoritative figures, in this case, the law, even the United Nations, all of these external authoritative figures are reinforcing this programming that whenever you hear or think about certain things, you don't have another thought about it. You do not engage down a line of critical thinking. You don't think about where that thought goes. You just repeat the same mantras and you shut down and you refuse to engage. And this refusal to engage is programmed into you in a way where you believe that you don't have to engage, that you are in such a moral right and authority that you owe no explanation to the other party. So thought termination isn't just something that you do to yourself and practice internally, but it happens externally towards other people. Right.
Wow.
So that means you're telling other people that they can't talk about things. They can't use certain words, that certain language is off limits, that no debate. Right. That is not just something you do to yourself. It's how you attempt to control and enforce thought. That's how you try to control the thoughts and behaviors of other people as well.
Absolutely. And I just did a few days ago, I did a live stream where I spoke about some of what I put up here. This is just one piece of this. It's behavior, thought, emotion, and the I is for, I'm losing what the I, information control. So these are all of the different tactics used in cult think to control how the person, ultimately to control behavior, but to control all these things: behavior, information, thought, and emotion. I just want to say Heather just shared with us that the lawyer confirmed Elijah will not be in court. So I don't know, I'm not sure what that means about I'm gonna, and Dawn is texting me too. Everyone apparently is texting me. What, I don't know what that means for the court hearing today. If that means there is no hearing, now it's possible there will be a warrant out for him. I'm not sure.
Yeah, but again, so this is now 2 times in a row that this man, Elijah Lane, 27 years old, who assaulted April, crushed her hand, permanently disabled her, and is now calling himself a woman. This is the 2nd time in a row he has not made his court appearance.
Yeah, this is absolutely ridiculous.
Okay, so I don't know, Amy, can we get any of the footage from in the court to see
It
what's going
hasn't
on? If they're still
started.
in there, it hasn't started.
Yeah,
Okay.
it has not started yet.
Well, since he's not there, this might mean that the women come out shortly.
Yeah.
Because that's what happened last time.
I'm gonna ask. I don't know if the proceeding will go forward. Yeah, I have here. I'm gonna put it up in the other screen, but I have the link. I mean, this is the courtroom. Where am I? Yeah, this is, you see, this is the courtroom. It hasn't started, so it's just incredible. I mean, I think he was, I mean, he was arrested. He's just let out on bail. So it's not that he wasn't arrested. He has an arrest report. He has an arrest record. This is simply him avoiding showing up. Yeah.
So we're waiting to see if we can get word from Dawn, Heather, or Elizabeth about what's going to be going on, what this means, and possibly April and the women will be coming out from court to give us an update and address the audience again.
Yeah. I believe he is 27.
Yeah, he's 27 years old.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. April is consulting with the DA in the hall. Lane's attorney is discussing calendar availability to schedule the next date.
So I want to take a minute to say something about these so-called trans rights activists and these so-called anti-fascists, the tactics and methods that they're using. We see, right? We see the violence, we see the thought control. But ultimately, so these people are acting as foot soldiers. They are out on the ground. They are enforcing these measures against women, these silencing measures and tactics against women. But they are not the one, this is not where it's emanating from, right? It's not coming from these people that we see out on the street calling them activists. These people are activated to a larger agenda that they are not even aware is happening, right? Just like I myself was activated and pushing the trans agenda. I had no understanding of what I was doing. I didn't know what it was connected to. I had no idea that it was going to be used to completely eliminate women's rights and try to eradicate sex as a measurable category in law. I did not know that. Chances are most of the people who fancy themselves allies in this fight for trans rights, they have no idea that this is really happening, that women's rights are actually being taken away, right? And we need to remember that these people, these hordes and masses of angry, violent people coming towards us, they don't know what they're doing. That's not absolving them of the violence that they're committing. Absolutely not. They need to be held accountable and responsible for what they're doing to women and how they're terrorizing people in public, 100%. But this is a top-down agenda, right? This is coming down from the international criminal courts are now using the language of gender identity. Anything that you see about international human rights, this is all being undermined and affected by this gender identity agenda. So we need to remember to be looking up at who is doing this and why are they doing this, right? And again, this is about the fourth industrial revolution. This is with every industrial revolution, you can go and look at the history and see how oppression specifically against women, but oppression of all people and workers is cranked up a notch through every industrial revolution. And right now we are moving into the fourth. That is the merging of human biology with man-made technology and the rise of artificial intelligence for social management and control. Okay, this is what this is all about. Yeah. So we don't want to waste too much of our energy just fighting these random brainwashed people, right? We want to develop strategies and tactics where we can go out into public, reach the public, have women explain what's happening, but we don't want everything to become about fighting with these brainwashed people because we're not going to get very far with that. And there are way more of them than there are of us. There are way more people who are ready to come out in the streets and use violence to shut down women than there are women who are willing to come out and speak about this issue right now. Though that is growing. More and more women, more women all over the world, thanks to, in large part, what we witnessed on Kelly J's tour across America and New Zealand and Australia. The visibility that the Let Women Speak tour has given to this issue is astronomical, regardless of whatever your thoughts or opinions are about anything else. This tour, Kelly J's tour, has put this issue front and center in everybody's minds. And now we have our work cut out for us, right? Women are just starting to wake up and come to the table and realize how this is affecting them, how it isn't an issue that they thought that it was about, peace, love, happiness, and human rights and, inclusion and whatever for all. And now they're waking up and realizing this is about destroying female sex-based rights all around the world. This is about the theft of reproduction and the theft of reproductive control and birth technology from women into the hands of the male scientific elite.
Yeah.
Okay, this is what we're talking about, a complete restructuring of society. That's why it seems like you can't get away from this wherever you go. Because this is a full-on attack of our reality and a shift of it. Go ahead, Amy, you have an update for us?
I want to put up a link to a documentary. I want to talk about, so there is, where did I put it? So anyone who hasn't, this book right here, Noam Chomsky, Manufacturing Consent. This, I read this years ago before I came into fighting this ideology. But this is also, I would say, an integral component to K.Yang, to your analysis and understanding how this consent is manufactured for the public, how the public comes to believe and even fight for things that are top down, that they come to believe and fight for causes that are not of their own grassroots organizing and making. They come to believe and fight for the plans and agendas of the top down globalist, corporatist, engineers of the culture. And Noam Chomsky helps you understand how that is created within a culture and what it looks like. But even if you don't want to go through the trouble of reading the entire book, there is a really good documentary that's a very actually entertaining documentary. It's well edited. It's well put together with lots of different information that helps you understand how this comes into being. There was a question earlier, which I wanted to say, this where I maybe have lost it. Yeah, Sue was saying she doesn't understand the rage screaming. She's never seen anything like that. They sound unhinged. What would a psychologist call this? And like K.Yang said earlier, people who are mentally ill are being targeted. So people who are mentally ill are being targeted, but this is not a mental illness as much as it is a cult capture. It's a think mechanism. It's a manufacturing of consent. It's not that there's such a thing as a trans person. It's not that there's such a thing as a gender dysphoric person. It's not that it's that there are people who have other mental comorbidities, but they are being captured into this mechanism that's being engineered from the top down. So it's something that has been awoken in them rather than something that is just an internal problem of, it's not a personal issue. It's a cultural issue. It's not a personal issue. If you want to speak to that, K.Yang, your mic is off. But if you want to speak to that, I'm going to look for the documentary so I can link it. And thank you for this.
Yes, thank you, Shelley. Yeah, this is intentional engineering, what's being done. This isn't by accident that you see these people out in the streets screaming and having these public meltdowns. This has all been done by design. And the United Nations has this framework that they use they call us, well, stakeholders, they call us, but they also call us agents of change, right? And when they say agents of change, they mean that's how they blanket apply this statement to all people. And then they try to target different populations of people and activate them to become mouthpieces and mobilizers of this larger agenda, all within the guise that this is being done in the name of human rights, right? So they're explicitly manipulating people's desire to do good, right? To do good things. That is being explicitly manipulated. Amy, what's the link that you put up here?
That is the link, but that's a really hard, in a way, link to follow. But I'm going to put up the actual words of it, and I think you'll be able to follow it better, because it's always hard for me to see these little things. But this is the name of the documentary. You can easily find it on YouTube. Again, it's an entertaining documentary because they have a lot of old commercials, and it's well edited and well put together. But it's really good at kind of breaking down how the structures of this come into play.
So I'm gonna say, if you don't want to watch that and you don't want to read Noam Chomsky's book, watch the video that I did.
Yes.
Watch the documentary that I put out, Torches of Freedom. It's on my Deprogrammer YouTube channel, Torches of Freedom, The Birth of Corporate Feminism, Edward Bernays, Propaganda, and Social Engineering.
Yes.
Okay, that's going to deliver, that has distilled all of this information that we're talking about, the mechanism that Amy was describing, the book that Noam Chomsky wrote, and he, by the way, is a total sellout at this point in time. But that's going to distill all of that information and explain to you exactly how early American corporatism preyed on the sentiments of women and explicitly preyed on feminist movements, and how women, under the guise of feminism, were manipulated to promote cigarettes and sales of tobacco for the tobacco industry. And it's going to connect that to what we see happening today, the pushing of the commodification of women for in pornography, right? This is directly connected to how we were manipulated to move markets in the past. This is all about market manipulation and money making and exploiting and using women to in service of corporate power, right? And in service of male domination.
Yeah. Yeah. This is, as always, as we've always known, this is about hierarchy. This is about female subordination. This is the name I put up in the chat. This is the name of the mini documentary on the Deprogrammer, and it's at the Deprogrammer on YouTube. So if you go to at the Deprogrammer, it's a 26-minute watch, which is very condensed. A lot of these things are well condensed. Just, if you have the time, I would go and watch all of the Deprogrammer content.
Oh yeah, I thought you meant the Noam Chomsky thing too.
No, it's incredibly dense material. It's also incredibly well edited, so it's very entertaining. I would say, I like my own content as well, but it's just me lecturing, which it can be hard to stay with sometimes. But what I love about K.Yang's content is that it really keeps you awake and engaged and alive and entertained as you're going through it. And it's so visual that you not only are hearing the concepts, but you are seeing how they function, because she's using images that help you imagistically conceptualize what is being said. So it's working on multiple layers. It's helping you do that thing that I always talk about in embodiment, which is pattern recognition. So a big part of this, and why we talk about this, it's often why I let go of words like, for example, the patriarchy, because that word, it's not necessary. It can be so putting off.
Thought terminating word. It's a trigger thought terminating word for some people, quite frankly. It stops them from thinking. Some people.
And what I'm really trying to talk about is the pattern recognition. That's really underlying that word when I'm talking about that. If I do happen to use that word, I'm trying to talk about a pattern that is at work that has to do with female reproductive exploitation and subjugation. So that's the pattern that I'm speaking to. It doesn't matter what word I use to describe that pattern. The pattern is the most important thing. And as I say, there's this parietal lobe part of the brain. It's much quicker at understanding things. It's how we recognize faces. It's how we process our senses, how you process and understand, your touch, taste, sense, smell, seeing, hearing, and it's a much faster part of the brain than your prefrontal cortex comparatively. I mean, our prefrontal cortex is pretty fast, but comparatively, this pattern recognition capacity is even faster. So when you are watching work like K.Yang's work on the Deprogrammer channel, it's helping you think about it with your prefrontal cortex, and it's also helping you do that pattern recognition part of the process. Okay, these women are back with us. Here we go.
Oh, hi. That was
Hi.
Hi. We just came out of the courtroom. It was very quick. We found that Elijah Lane, he's not here today. And so what came about, they tried really hard to bump this up to a hate crime. It was not bumped up to a hate crime. It really is a hate crime. But on June 1st, they will have the pretrial. And then on June 20th, they are moving to a jury trial. That's when the jury trial is June 20th. So that's what's going on. So, and of course, he didn't show up today. But he's required to be there on the 20th. He is required, of course, to be there on the 20th.
And so if he doesn't show up on the 20th, will that result in a warrant for his arrest?
I would presume so, because it's a jury trial. I mean, when they move to a jury trial, they're picking the jury right there that day. And they have to, as it goes, interview potential jury members and pick a jury. It's a process, even if they have just a small trial. Because I've done the jury duty. In fact, twice in the last 2 years, I've done jury duty. So yeah, it is a process coming from that aspect.
And this raises an interesting another conundrum here, because how are we going to find a jury now that hasn't been affected by the propaganda of trans and gender identity, a jury that hasn't been affected by the anti-female sentiment that is rife in the context that we live in?
Oh, absolutely. I think even just not moving it to a hate crime, if that would have had a much better effect on the jury, if just saying that it's a hate crime, and for them to not call it a hate crime is a crime, seriously, because that's what it is. And I think that would affect the jury, just not even calling it a hate crime.
Yeah.
So I believe that we're going to be here on June 1st as well. I got to check with April, just because it's the readiness to see if he's ready. So I believe he has to be here on June 1st as well at 3:00. So
is that what he was? Is that the excuse today, that he wasn't ready?
I'm not sure. They didn't give the excuse, which is sad, but they said right away. April asked his attorney and said that he called him a she, I know, and isn't going to be here today, but the readiness appearance is on June 1st, and he has to be here for that too, because they have to make sure that he's ready.
Is he gonna take HRT before then, or get facial feminization surgery or something?
Oh, I doubt he's going to do anything like that. It's all a show, like it is for so many of these guys. It's all a show. Why do that when you can keep your penis and just call it a lady dick? Can have your cake and eat it too.
This is for the benefit of the court. This is the problem with these identities. There is no way to prove your identity. There's no tangible. It's smoke and air. There's no way to prove that my identity is unicorn identity or Cheese Whiz identity. There's no way to prove which one I really am.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. My husband likes to say he identifies as Brad Pitt, but yeah, that's how ridiculous it is.
Yeah. And cis Brad Pitt is not oppressed in the way that your trans Brad Pitt husband is.
Right. Right. Oh gosh. But so I guess to be continued. But I think it was something that so many of us showed up here today to participate in this as well.
Absolutely. And Dawn, how many women and men would you say were there today in support and in the rain and everything?
Gosh, there's at least 12 of us, 12 to 15 of us. And not all of us went into the courtroom, but we filled 3 rows of the small courtroom too. So I don't know. Are you going to say something?
Robert Zerfine is here, and he's the one who filmed
Hi, Heather.
Fort Townsend.
Hey, Heather, can you say that again? Can you start over?
Can you say it again?
Robert Zerfine from I forget his name.
The Common Sense Conservative.
Yeah, he's off YouTube now, but he's here interviewing April also. So there's people that came from Fort Townsend and other areas that came here to support April today. We're really excited about that.
Great.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I've got my microphone is on my thing. So did you hear that? I wasn't sure. I've got the microphone in my ear.
Yeah, that's great. So she was saying Robert Zerfing, he is called the common sense conservative. He's not from Port Townsend. He's from the Seattle, broader Seattle area. But he did a lot of the documentation of the Let Julie Swim event for us in Port Townsend. So it's great that he showed up to witness that. And, you know, hopefully on June 1st, we might even have an even bigger crowd on the courthouse steps and in support of April. And you know, it's absolutely ridiculous that they have continued to waste April's time like this and get her to come out. But in a way, she's the one who is getting publicity and recognition for what happened to her.
Well, I'm disturbed that they moved the trial to June, which is Pride Month.
Right.
And I think that is detrimental to the case, you know, to April's side of the case as well. I think that will have an effect, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right, it will. And maybe April will have more supporters as well with her then. It looks like you all are pretty dedicated to keep up this show of support. It's important for April to see, and actually it's important for all of us, because if something like this happens to any one of us women who have been speaking out and risking our lives and our credibility, our access to housing, work, all of that, when something like this happens to a woman, there needs to be a show of support and solidarity. We need to build that amongst us. If we don't, not only is it not right, not only is it, you know, awful to make a woman feel alone, but we will see that we will quickly have no one left who wants to put themselves out there like this.
Right. Oh, absolutely.
So
I
very, very
100%
important
agree.
to build solidarity in this type of a movement, especially when we are facing so much violence, when we are facing such a top-down totalitarian agenda in our faces, down our throats. Very important for us to stick together and remember that we don't all have to agree on everything, to hold basic lines about safety, about our bodies, our spaces, women's spaces. So thank you for being there and continuing to grow the show of solidarity and support for April. I know if we'll probably connect and do another thing like this live
Oh,
stream.
absolutely. I just wanted to pan, and so you can see really quick. If you can see, I don't know if you can see everybody there.
Great. That's great.
Yeah, Dawn, if you want to walk around and give us a little bit more of the scene, if anyone wants to share any of their thoughts, they are welcome to do so. This is the time.
Okay, let me see if I can get someone who might want to interview. Let me see if I can.
And if you're watching, find Dawn's YouTube channel. It's called Library Momators.
Amy. Yeah, that's all right.
I'll type it in the chat.
Are either of you interested in interviewing on Amy and Kat's live stream? Okay, excellent. All right, here, if you don't mind wearing this.
Oh, I got her. I know, it's a little challenging. All right.
Hi, welcome.
Hello.
If you can introduce yourself to us, whatever you want to say, however public you want to be about your name and who you are, just introduce yourself and why you're here today.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm Mackenzie, friendly local feminist. I'm here because I was present at the event in Tacoma that got violent on the side of the TRAs, obviously, and at which April got her hand crushed. I remember the aftermath of it. I remember seeing her just absolutely in shock. We were trying to figure out, do we need to get her to the emergency room? I'm currently carrying her granddaughter because she can't lift the baby carrier properly. She has lasting issues from what happened in Tacoma. And so I'm here to support her. I'm horrified that she may be forced to refer to her male attacker, Elijah Lane, with female pronouns against her beliefs. I mean, that is exactly what he was trying to intimidate her into doing in the first place in Tacoma with violence. We saw it happen. So the fact that the legal system would enforce that it's horrifying. It's insulting to our intelligence. We know what a man is, and that's why we're here. And then, do you want to talk a little bit, Erin?
Thank you so much, Mackenzie. That's awesome. Thank you for saying all of
guys.
that. It's so great to hear from you.
Always good to hear from you. Keep up the good work.
You too.
There you go.
Hey. Hi, we've got the umbrella holder here who is keeping
local.
April and the baby dry. Earlier.
How's it
Hi,
going?
welcome. Can you tell us who you are and why you're here today?
Yeah, I kind of go by Goth Girl, mostly online.
Okay, I think I know who you are.
Yeah, I was also in Tacoma. I was also with April. I'm disabled, so I left shortly before they closed in on us fully, and so I didn't see it happen. But I was with April after she came up the hill when we were walking up the hill, and then afterwards, I was with her. She was clearly in shock. She was clearly injured. And like Mackenzie said, it's horrifying that this guy just wants to intimidate her to have her use male or female pronouns for him when it's something that pretty much only a guy could do. I mean, it'd be hard pressed to find a woman that could crush another woman's hand.
Exactly.
So,
totally.
So yeah, just here to support and hold umbrellas and
And when we see a man commit an act of violence like that against a woman, like what happened to April, and we know that it's because he wants to silence her and stop her from appearing and speaking in public, that sends a message to all women. And that message is that we need to shut up and go away and be quiet, or you'll be the next victim. So as two women who were there and witnessed what happened to April, what was going through your mind or your feelings when this all was happening? Because we know it wasn't just April. There were several interactions where people were trying to get physical, where threats were being made. It was super intimidating. What was going through your minds while you were in that situation?
I mean, I was spat on. I had stuff thrown at me. There was water bottles going every direction. And I was weirdly calm.
That's good. That's a good thing.
Yeah, it was kind of it was weird to be in. It was my first kind of exposure to that, and public speaking and everything. And so I don't know. I mean, I had PTSD for about a month afterwards that it lasted, where it was just kind of overwhelming from everything because, it was public speaking was kind of a big deal for me. So for the first time doing that was kind of a lot. And then to have all that happen on top of it as well. And to see what happened to April. I didn't know April at the time. I didn't know any of these women. I was just going there alone. Then I met them all, and I'm very glad I did.
That's amazing. That's amazing that you didn't know anyone and you just saw that the tour was happening and you wanted to be there and you did it and you showed up, and now you're showing up now and you're relationship building with these women and coming together and showing support for April. It's awesome. I'm so happy to see you all there.
Yeah, I know. Thank you so much for supporting us and putting this out there. It really means a lot. And I did see someone in the chat say the process is a punishment, and it's very true. It's just ridiculous what's happening. There are a lot of words I could say, but I won't.
And they're really manipulating all of our time and energy, right? All of us women everyone who showed up in front of the courthouse, the women, the men, all of us who are on this live stream, who are in the chat, like all of us are having our time and energy manipulated and directed by these people, by this agenda. We could be doing so many other amazing, brilliant things. And that's part of why this agenda is happening, to keep us from doing those things, to keep us down.
Yeah, and that is
So
why
thank you for not staying down and getting up and standing up and speaking out.
yeah, and that's why I want to press thank you so much everyone for being here, because I know it's ridiculous to come into a live stream and to seem like it's nothing happening, but it is a lot happening because we're all coming together, and that is massive.
Right.
That is huge. That is very important.
Yeah.
And we are our own network. So yeah, thank you all.
I love it. Thank you, Goth Girl. Thanks so much
Yeah,
to you,
cheers.
and thank you to Mackenzie. I don't know if there are if either of you want to say anything else.
Are you good?
And is it, I don't know if it's possible to hear from April. I know she's being interviewed already, but if we could just basically be hearing what she's saying as well,
I think
that
we
would
can
be
send you in
great.
her
I think
direction.
women would love
Yeah.
to hear from her.
Definitely. Yeah, we'll send you in her direction. Thank you guys so much. Take care.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hey, Sean.
Hey, I'm just heading over to April.
Great.
Thanks so much for passing the mic around and giving us a good breadth of voices to hear from today. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Remember, you have to have both of them in. Oh, okay. Which ear does it go in? Okay, there we go.
All right. Hey,
Oh,
April.
I can hear you. Hey, Amy. Okay.
Yeah, we're here.
We're both here.
Okay. Okay, sorry, I can't see you.
Hi, how
So-
are you? How did it go?
Well, I'm pretty disappointed. I mean, I'm very happy and thankful that everybody's here to support me, but yeah, I'm pretty disappointed that the prosecuting attorney said that they are not moving it to a hate crime, and he was even using female pronouns, and I was scoffing.
Wait,
It's
April,
really hard.
the judge was using female pronouns for Elijah. Is that what you just said?
No, the prosecuting
The
attorney.
prosecutor. The prosecuting
prosecutor.
attorney for the city of Tacoma was using she, her female pronouns for Elijah Lane.
Yes, and as he did that, I told him, I said, that's another thing that I want to make sure that this does not be recorded as a crime from a woman. This is a man that did this to me, and it needs to be recorded. And I said, it's very confusing to hear you referring to him as a her.
Right.
And he said that he has to do that to and I said, well, I told him, I said, I won't, I refuse to. I said, I'm going to stick with reality, and I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to perjure. So if you want me to get up and talk and say anything, I refuse to use female pronouns for a man.
Good for you.
Good.
April, do we know if this man, Elijah Lane, do we know about his public documents and records? Is he listed as a male or a female?
Me and Elizabeth did some checking on that, and Crystal Cox as well. And Crystal pulled up the report, and his license is showing that he is a male. And so at the time that all of this happened, about me. At the time that all of this happened, yes, he was, he was referring to himself as a male, and now all of a sudden he is referring to himself as a female.
Get out of jail trans card.
Yeah,
exactly.
Not like we haven't seen that before.
Right. And so, this being a 4th-degree misdemeanor, nothing is going to happen to this man. He's going to get slapped on the hand. He might get some community service. He's never going to see jail. He's not going to have to pay any type of money. I mean, I have to get a civil lawsuit attorney and sue this man for what he's done. That's what has to happen.
Yeah.
That's going to be what's going to have to happen. And I think that, what you're doing, fighting this publicly, showing up, speaking out, not hiding and cowering, like, this is very important that you're doing it like this, because it's sending a message to everyone everywhere. And the more that the more that women take these types of actions and say, no, we're not going to take it, we're going to stand up, there will be a consequence, you will be held accountable, the harder we're going to make it for these men to feel comfortable to do this stuff. And eventually, this is going to clog up the court system. I mean, how can it not be already? I'd be very interested in what the legal, why does the prosecutor have to refer to him as she and her? For what? Under what legal pretense does he have to use the wrong pronoun for a man?
That's a really good question. And when we talk, I'm going to ask him that. Thank you for bringing that up, because I do want the answer to that.
Because they can't just say, oh, we have to do this. Why?
Yeah,
no,
why?
We don't have to do it. Show me in the law why. And this is also a good point for us to remember that this fight extends beyond the legal framework, right? Because they are going to the laws, they're changing laws, they're changing policies, they're doing all of that. So our fight and our struggle is already transcended outside that framework.
Exactly.
And we have to remember that they're playing totally dirty here. The rules don't apply. Some people are free and some people are freer than others, right? Or some are equal, some are more equal than others.
Yes, and I really like the point that one of the women here, I forget her name, but one of the women was making was that if this was the other way around, if I had done this to Elijah Lane,
oh yeah,
this would be considered a hate crime.
Yeah, so this should be considered a misogynistic hate crime against women because April was there specifically under the auspices to speak up for the sex-based rights of women and girls at an event called Let Women Speak. Physical abuse, violence, harassment, intimidation was used to silence and stop April and other women from speaking.
Yeah.
And now your speech is being compelled. They are trying to compel your speech in the court of law. I want people to understand that this is a violation of our First Amendment right to free speech. And I have lots of critiques of the rights-based framework, but it is the one that governs us. And this is a violation of our free speech. Compelling women to use she, her pronouns for men is absolutely unacceptable.
Yeah.
Yep, it is. And to further that, had it been the other way around, it would be considered a hate crime. I would go to prison and then be in a woman's prison filled with men, and I would probably then get raped.
Yeah.
That's what we are.
This is absolute insanity. And as you said, they're skewing crime statistics. These are not our crimes. This is not a woman's crime. I think though that would, it's just ridiculous. This is not a woman's crime.
Yeah. Maybe might be a Bye, thank you for coming. What was I going to say? Could you maybe put in the chat if if anybody knows of any good civil lawsuit attorneys here in Pierce County?
Someone in the chat wants to know if WBI will support you in a civil suit.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know the answer to that either.
Quite frankly, this is a good time to put out there to everyone who's listening and just put this out there. We need people to start building a network of legal support because this isn't going to stop. Women are going to keep fighting back, and we're going to keep on, they're going to keep on trying to put us in situations like this. And part of, this is a tactic that gets used to pull people into a legal situation to where they're pulled out of the game. They're no longer able to speak publicly. And we need to be careful and mindful of this as well. We don't have a lot of women who are out there publicly speaking. So the ones who are need to be supported, and we need to start building legal networks of support and solidarity. Every state, there should be lists of any women who support this cause, who are part of the legal system. And anyway, we might not have lawyers in every state yet that will publicly support this cause, but there are women out there who have expertise in and are trained in backgrounds with the law, right? And anything that we can get together If anyone's out there that has a background in legal themselves, maybe take this up as a project, because we really need to start building a network of support as we move forward, because this is just the beginning. I know that we're all sick of this shit. Sorry, I try not to swear in these things. I know we're all sick of this, and we're totally done. We're exasperated. We're beyond our limit with it. But this is really just the beginning.
It is.
It's going to get crazier from here on out. So we need to tighten up, and we need to be very careful.
Yeah, well, that's what happens when you start changing the laws, you know, and our language. And I mean, they really think women are just going to sit by and take this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, really.
No, they don't. And they don't expect us to. This is a good time to point out as well. They never expected us to sit down and take it. They've always expected our resistance. They've preempted our resistance. And that's why there are controlled operatives and controlled operations that are going on, controlled narratives in the media. The conversation is completely, we can see that we've been here trying to alter the conversation and say, no, there are women all over the political spectrum. There are women of all races, all ethnicities, backgrounds, religions who resist this. And they refuse to allow the true narrative to be heard. They continue to keep the narrative controlled to say, this is what the resistance is. And that's a tactic that's being used to dampen our resistance and make us look like we're bad people for speaking up.
Yeah.
So
April, can you tell us a little bit about, since this has happened, you've gotten support from some women, not just there on the ground, but I know Redux did an article with you. Genevieve Gluck wrote an article. Can you describe some of the other support that you've gotten from women and other people in general?
Yeah, Exulansic reached out to me. We did an interview. Like you said, Genevieve Gluck, you and Amy. And then, of course, just a lot of independent women. There's been, you know, a lot of donations that have come through. Heather had set up a dinner train, or I don't know what you call that, a meal train. And a lot of people were helping out and bringing meals. And oh, my goodness. There's been a lot of support, and I'm very grateful for it all. It blows me away. Of course, it's going to take a lot more support, you know, to move forward to actually get an attorney. That's gonna, I don't really know what that's gonna look like. Probably gonna have to run some type of campaign or something to try to, you know, get for an attorney.
Yeah.
Something's cutting out. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can. You got a little quieter, but yeah, we can hear you.
Oh yeah, the earpiece isn't working.
Yeah. Here. I think it
died.
Yeah, it probably did. Did it make a funny sound? Like okay, yeah, it died.
Okay. So sorry. Can you hear me?
We can. It's just a little bit quieter. So if you want to get closer or speak up.
Oh, I can't hear them.
Here, try this.
Well, that's okay. Well, maybe we might let you go. Maybe we should let you go anyway. And
there.
Oh, there you are. Okay.
I can't see one at a time.
Oh, now your battery. Okay, her battery on her phone is dying, and the earpieces are running out. So
well, thank you so much, April, for being.
Thank you.
We will be with you again on June 1st as your case moves forward. We'll continue to cover this. We will continue to support, and thank you for being out there today. And I'm so glad you had so many women with you.
It was wonderful. Yeah, a lot of women showed up. Women I don't even know. So we've just met a whole new group of women. It's just amazing. I love this.
So great.
Yeah. So thank you both so much. I appreciate you both.
Thank you, April. And thank you to every single woman who is in the chat. who showed up, who's here now, who was there at the beginning. People were popping in throughout the live stream and leaving all kinds of chats of support for you.
Wonderful.
And if you're here, you're in the chat, you're still listening, come back to the live stream when it's done and leave a comment as well, because the comments help boost the video in the algorithm. And then you can show your support that way as well and let people know that there is a thriving community going on here, because not everyone sees the chats when they come back to the video later. And April, know that there are women who are saying that when it's time for you to fundraise for your lawyer, they will help to spread that information through all of our networks.
Wonderful. That's great to hear.
All right.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
All right. And thank you all for being with us today. Yeah, do hit the like, do hit subscribe, do share this video, comment, share it with your networks. This is how we help spread awareness about what women are facing, women like April are facing. I thank you all for being with us today, and we're gonna let you all go. All right.
Reality wins.
Reality does win. Thank you so much.